July 31st, now we don't go in excess of $30 million also. So on average, since we don't kind of power about $91 million, this government don't pump into subsidies. Because otherwise, the pump price, even we don't do so yesterday, the pump price will the average around 27, 28 leos, probably to 20, even 29 for diesel. So that is why we are here with FISE. We forgive the humane face in our price review. As a government, we keep her at 25 leos. Many we are still subsidizing.
We are actually one for ask that because there are a lot of speculation of, people will say then they expect the price for be 27 leons and also up to 30 leons. And we even see, right up will be circulate on social media that the petrol price will be at 28 to 30 leons. And how does it work when we see the price at the end of it, we see 125 leons?
Well, the industry is a speculative industry. Both the consumers and the marketers, they already speculate. But at PRA, I'm not telling you, say, we get a system where they monitor, we're very transparent, effective, and accurate. So we always try for protect the consumers, we always want to protect the investors, at the same time, the interest of government. So those three parties. So it is a very difficult maneuver among those three parties, government, investors, and consumers. Because based on the projection, what's our day now today, 25 days, now for in February. So the market is far ahead of us. And for February, as at the time where the minister announced for gradually withdraw the subsidy, we already did 28 to 30 leons. So they were right. But as a government, we not afford for transfer all those burdens to the consumers.
Okay, and part of the press release where PRA Punado and reason for the adjustment is about the exchange rate and also the fuel crisis globally. And also, if you want for the comparison with other countries, Sierra Leone is still lesser in terms of how we do pump price.
Yeah, indeed. All the time, I tell my family and this, how the pump price is being determined. In the first place, Sierra Leone is a net importing country for petroleum products. And let's look at the state of the world at the moment. Reserves, they don't go low. Output don't go low. Then the economic activities, they don't increase. The demand don't increase. Supply is unmatched. So in simple economics, where demand is in excess of supply, it affects price, it hike price. So secondly also, we already observe the geopolitical tensions. Most of the region, the way they get the oil fields, now they get upheavals, they get crises, they get problem. So for them to get product, they go for bypass, go through this route, probably some country, they go refine at some other countries. The pricing structure itself, the crude oil, they contribute about 50% to 53% of the pump price. And they also get about 14% for the refining cost. We also got insurance, we got distribution cost and marketing cost. So then they will finish that day. Now it kind of a terminal. It depends also if you get direct transportation. Some countries are landlocked. So we are lucky, we're not landlocked. Other countries like Mali, Niger, they can go through another country, even Rwanda. But certainly we are lucky. So all those things, they affect the pump price. The way you country back, even the importers, the marketers, the distributors, the storers, they take small charges because they have to remain in business. Those dealers, you see, you go see gas station here, the other gas station here, but they have different costs, different overheads. So it also affects prices. But we at PRA and as a government, our job now is how transparent those costs are, how transparent those overheads are. We determine that every now and then. Even for them to get at this price, just yesterday we met twice. The first meeting about 3 hours, the other meeting about 2 hours, for them to be able to get a fair result. That's what we do. So we're not going to allow any dealer or marketer for actually abuse the system.
Monetary aspect also very keen to this because, like you mentioned, because of the plaque we PRA don't implement, don't make prices issue very easy. Back then, the one where they do fair business with determine the prices issue can come to PRA or governmental and say, now this price don't come up internationally and want to work towards this price. Now if governments have capable for determine on price issues, but how does it all help the market so far in terms of stability into petroleum products?
Well, yes, 2018, 2019, we are relying on third-party source of data, of information, Total, that was not helpful for the agency and even for the government because the market was ahead of PRA. So we feel say that was not workable and that was impractical. So what we do, we acquire a plat. It's very expensive. With the support of the Ministry of Finance, we get the plat. Now, we monitor the fair price on daily basis. So most of the meetings they would go, perhaps they bring artificial cost somewhere, but we already know how they are able to central bank because those two factors, the plat which is the international reference price, with the outside me and the control, now one of the major factors there. The second one is the foreign exchange. So for the fact that we get a data, or they monitor on daily basis, they cannot be ahead of us. So at any point in time, we stay at par. We say the difference between we and the oil marketers. For instance, because of this length of time, we government don't hold them. They are selling below market price. And in February, for the certain 25, 26, 27 leaves per liter, we would talk with them, they said 21.5. So they were losing something like a 4 leons or where government for bleed for pay for getting back. So if we come to for negotiate, they can say, okay, government will say, okay, we owe you $4 million. Can you recoup this through stabilization? They may decide to say no, increase on our distribution cost because our capital has been depleted. So now the apportionment, the accounting aspect, and they will get discrepancies.
Okay, we will take a short break and because that is very important. But generally, are you want for evaluate the collaboration with the oil marketers so far with you? Because I know there are so many negotiations for reaching to this price, and because of the expectation of most people that the price supposed to be at 28 leons, but there are still negotiations for ensure so we keep to 25 leons.
Yes, when we came in 2018, I was coming also for a petroleum background as a SafeCon. I was one of them. So they understand me, they know me, I know them. But now as a regulator, we will not be able to catch up easily for them to understand each other. Now we don't understand each other now. Our language don't compromise, don't harmonize. We know what they need, and they say no to government need. So that is why at this point, in fact, as I'm talking to you, some of them are selling at losses. Government also is still bleeding on the fiscal point. So both parties are actually losing. For now, even at 25 leons, I want to tell Remy for say, now consumers, they benefit, as at yesterday, the consumers, they benefit because we suppose for the 28 leons, we still below 28 leons at 25 leons per liter.
But even as that, there are other places where probably they sell towards that prices. And that make an ask there of monitoring because you get still fuel station where PRA go down say they will sell the petrol at 25 leons, but they can sell more than that.
What are the advice? When you go buy fuel, ask for receipt. I don't sanction importers. I don't sanction oil marketing companies. Under this regime, somebody don't bring fair come about 10,000 metric tons because in order to standard, we will send them back. I have done that twice. You go check record. So not alone a dealer. Dealer, we don't get a government stipulated price of 25 leons. You go say above government price. Let me get that receipt. I will withdraw the license and sanction that dealer.
You know, I remember also PRA pull a press release across the world, but also PRA pull a press release encourage big company, you know, mining sector, mobile company for pay in dollars. You know, probably they themselves get their own. We are then buy, but it should be in dollars. But how that one they seem for the go on?
It's a completely different lesson to learn actually. At the height of the crisis, we had a single pricing formula. Both consumers and commercial customers were using that single pricing formula. But at the height of the crisis, we observed, say, the oil marketing companies, because the president put in place an essential goods and services committee. So the president put, for let we meet every Wednesday on the essential goods. That is why even at the height of the COVID-19, or no one day get run out of stock or get inventories at all point in time. But we observe for the petroleum sector, the mining company, for instance, the large consumers, government was subsidizing them, and that is in fact to say unfair to the general consumers. These large commercial entities. So and diesel, for instance, 80% of diesel it goes to mining companies. If you go to the pump now, and based on our data, Now less than 20% you go to the pump per diesel. Most of the diesel is consumed at the commercial aspect. And when they buy this product, they pay in dollars. Then the OMs them back, most of them, some of them they declare to government say, will they get receivables in dollars. So they mount the pressure on government. Every now and then their demand is over $100 million. So we say, okay, we have to split this. Let's split the market. One, if we want to subsidize, we just have to subsidize the consumers. Now, the other commercial aspect, let them get the full pass-through, and they should be paying in US dollars. But the other challenge we get under some of the mining companies, they pay lower than what would they expect. So that issue don't come up. But probably we'll have to, the Ministry of Mines or the Ministry of Finance will have to look at that again. Because what we want is, we want to have a very fair price. We want to be fair with the ordinary consumers. You now, commercial customer, mining company or agricultural company, if you buy in dollars, and if you pay at full pass-through, at the moment it's around 27, 28 leons, and that if you pay.
Okay, and you know, the other area of expansion, you know, I think that will be one of the key priority areas. You know, why would you talk about the price to 25 leons? Expansion also very important. You always can stress on, say, you want for ensure, say, we get fuel station across the country, even if we get the fuel station, but also the availability of the stock also very key. Always be routes now for go up to 3 miles, and I don't see fuel station, you know, from this point to that point, and throughout across the country, but also the stock also for available. But how PRA they work with them, then fuel station, then while they put more stations but get fuel, even though the price they are 25 leons, but people forget access to them.
Yes, this is the vision of His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio for ensure say everybody get access to energy, everybody get access to fuel. 2018, we will get less than 300 gas stations in Sierra Leone. As I'm talking to you now, we don't exceed that. We are very close to 450 gas stations across Sierra Leone. And our office, even the entry requirement is very flexible for encourage local investors, Sierra Leoneans, let them get gas. Because this industry is profitable and the profit is predetermined and direct. And not to say I can't say at the buy or at the loss or at the buy, at the gain. You will get a guaranteed distribution cost for every dealer, oil marketing companies, and the transporters. Their profit is guaranteed, it's protected. So that is why you see we don't get a spread along the geographic footprint throughout Sierra Leone. We get gas stations there, except some areas like we still have to improve, like Carina district, Pujon district, and the Bond district. We still need to work more to get more gas stations there. Then on the marketing aspect, we don't bring in 2 or 3 additional players, and we feel say that they can support the industry. Because don't forget, by 2018, Sierra Leone will consume about 900,000 liters per day. Today, that will move to 1.3 million liters of all product, both diesel and petrol. 1.3 million liters they consume every day. So many will forget a store where they take it to up to 6 weeks or to 12 weeks. But for now, with the average around 4 to 6 weeks, which is also reasonable. The office is open, the government investment incentive, they attract more customers there for investors for come. Right now, before the elections, I would have received over 56 investors who don't come at the market. So they try to put 1 or 2 things in place for ensure say Sierra Leone become a hub. Because as I'm talking to you, people they still smuggle with fuel. Well, I'm not going to call them smuggle directly because they pay taxes, but they take the product because it is cheaper to Morovia, for instance, to our sister countries, Guinea, for instance, because our products are cheaper. Then we also want for
Welcome back. We're sorry for that technical break there, but we don't come back. The show at this day on AYV television, on channel 33 and the radio 101.7 FM. We'll continue the program. We'll still look at the increment of fuel from 21.5 to 26, and also look at government activities. Yesterday we see ministers and deputy ministers, and also today take out of office, and you know, also government position into the fuel issue. I still got with me Brahma Balua Kuma, we are the executive chairman for the Petroleum Regulatory Agency. I just joined the studio by Yusuf Keke Tomasandi. We are the Deputy Minister of Information and Civic Education. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, David, for having me, and Fambule Munadu, and hope everybody do fine.
Sure. And well, before I come to Mr. Chairman, you will talk on issues surrounding how PRA governments go monitor, people they take fuel from Sierra Leone. Because of we get a lesser cost, you prefer for take with fuel and go to other countries as well.
Yes. So I'm going to talk this morning about Guinea. They say less than Sierra Leone. That kind of information is not correct, because if you see 2.46 leones against 1 franc at the moment, therefore, if in Leone terms, because we standardize those rates for compatibility. Now we rated 28, 29 leones. Then we get option as a government, one, to harmonize the price to match it with Guinea, Liberia, Ivory Coast. But that burden will move to the consumers. As I told you, this government, now a government will get human face. So we decide for, make sure say we are always below. I tell you, say, we already started 25 leones, now do for in February. So the market, we are far behind the market at any point in time. So as a Combra government, so we now take that first option for low day as part of other countries there, 29 leones. So we decide for the below. So as a result of that, we still they subsidize. What happened yesterday, that the fiscal space, we could reduce the cumulative negative subsidy. It don't reduce because we subsidized 5 leones, then 4.8 leones per liter. So now it don't narrow down. But we might not even know to happen in the coming month. So as a government, since 2018 to date, about $91 million has been pumped into this sector to consumers directly.
They have storage and ensure that with the availability of the stock within this period. It's also a concern for most people.
Now, let me put it this way. I don't tell you, say, the entire value chain, always the appeal also to be boss them. And the appeal say, this sector, government for participate actively, not only to regulate. If you observe, at the height of the crisis, most of the marketing companies, OTB buy $1 million. At that time, it now need $2 million. So that pressure was also mounting on government and through the central bank. There are other countries where got government agencies or government authorities in this sector, then they transact. For instance, if you go to Ghana, Goel, they get 30% of the market share. And where they supply all government ministries, government departments. But the private sector person, it get a shareholder where they report to. It go get some losses at the point in time. There's a stop loss limit. There's a point where the board will approve for let you continue for loss. Right now, see this $4 million, they don't give a mount pressure on government, on the marketers. So government need to participate. In terms of storage, some of them still they underutilize the storage capacity. So I need storage, but I not the really crisis, and that's the critical issue now. The one that get the storage, we need to push them, let them encourage investors, let them make full utilization of those storage. So then they use about 30% of storage, 40%, 50%. They will also get one where still lie idle, government asset. Government is looking at all those alternatives. But the fact remains, we need more investors, we need government participation in the sector.
Probably one facts about the coming of is it APP and how that they don't create some impact into the sector as well.
We are very positive about the arrival of APP. Government was very deliberate. Government was very stimulative about bringing APP on board. And APP get about 60,000 metric tons capacity. We go take it for 2 months if we get full capacity if we get a product day. But at the point in time, they also suffer some liquidity challenges. They get product financing, and they not be able to understand government interest for, say, if you get liquidity challenges, you get the kind of asset, you can partner with somebody else. You get the asset, somebody get the funding. So we will not be able to get that. It was a very huge risk. So I think said they will understand now for letting see the interest of government and the people of Sierra Leone, the consumers, because the asset is a critical national asset and a little idle. I think government will think about that.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Yes, the executive chairman of the Petroleum Regulatory Agency, PRA, and I'll come to you, Yusuf Keke Thomas Sadi from the Ministry of Information. It's a big role, information and also civic And we also link with people to understand the challenges where governments go through, more especially in giving out subsidies into fuel. But first, congratulations, and you're part of the one that also take out of office yesterday, and we see the final batch of the ministers and deputy ministers the president be appointed as well. But generally, what's not government in position into this?
Well, I think I'm happy Balwa there. We obviously get vast experience in the sector. I mean, we at the Minister of Information level for make sure say we work and support agencies that will directly deal with the issues there. For explain to people why this happened. For explain say that this not the only happen in Salon. This they happen across the world, because there are extraneous circumstances that seem the way they out of government's control. Obviously, Balwa don't talk say that government are net importer of petroleum products. We also get for deal with obviously the issue about exchange rate. We get for deal with international prices of them petroleum products there. But more importantly as well, that even in the midst of all the challenges there, government still they take actions them within the people in best interest. So for instance, you know, you don't deal with countries that way. Even when we get to be priced at this level, 25 euros per litre now, many countries then they, within the sub-region that way, we price still down, really low, so people for understand that one day. And you know, decision for instance for increased fuel pump price, for certain things that way, these are difficult decisions. Because obviously they affect people, the bread and butter issue, you know. Now I make also very happy that immediately today, we don't meet at the government level, the Minister of Transport, don't engage with the stakeholders in the transport sector, for me they also carry it, fixed price them for the transport fares. Because we know say, if that did not happen, now gray area outside, the drivers them, the keke riders them, the Okada riders them go probably abuse and take advantage of people them. Because we believe say, yes, these are difficult decisions they want to take. But you also get from members say that, like Balwa say, from 2018 to now, government through direct and indirect subsidies there, government lost about 91 million US dollars. You know, just from this first year alone, government also lost about 35 million US dollars. You know, that's not a huge amount of money, you know. But government will take all that today because we care about we people them, we care about people's livelihood. But you know, government self, na cobra government. Government get beaucoup in the way they do. Government deal with healthcare, we deal with education, we do beaucoup in the way they give people their needs. So therefore, it means say, even with all the costs they are with the government go for look and say, okay, at some point in time, because like he also say, even the oil markets in companies them back, they may going to achieve loss because of the exchange rates. You know, government also don't look say, okay, this may not happen. So if it happened 6 months ago, government don't bear, we don't cushion, we don't come in inside, say, you know, but then it's not sustainable. So we think, say, let's do it incrementally. If government were actually like what Balwa say, for make the pass through, for make all the things the way they happen, for make government reflect on the price. If we don't go far beyond 25 leons per litre, but government say no, because we're not government, let we still take some hit, let we still suffer some loss, for make people and make sure say the effect of all the increments that we go make, it's not going to be too huge. So more could make them at 25 litre. So now therefore still tell you say, we are still clear in government. We still understand, say, yes, these are difficult times. But certain things in the way they beyond government in control. But then when we come to a decision, we go still take them and people's interest. So I assure people and say, government will continue in every decision they take for making sure we take our people's interest. For making sure say we cushion the hardship of people them. And even this way don't happen, so we know say we'll continue for maintain. But something very important. Now the fact say, even in the midst of all of this, we get for ensure say we get the commodities the way available. Because in many other countries them, you realize say we get long queues of petroleum products because it's not sufficient under the market, but the availability is very important. Make you know say queues the not day. People they make it available. Yes, it don't increase a bit, but then now part of what they should say yes, as long as there's availability in the market, people get a chance. Some people are going to say yes, government is right. And like we also Balwa say, important to make you understand say that most of them see how they happen. The mining companies, them big companies, them that they benefits a lot. Because most of them are huge beneficiaries of them in there, you know. And we feel say it's also important make them back pay a fair share of what they consume. Now make back government each of decision. You know, but as we dey go along, we also dey make sure say we dey look at every other thing that where government will benefit from, where people will benefit from.
Yeah, because that's very key, and you know, fear linked to literally everything in this country. And if somebody go out for even buy clothes, it's you say the fear long go up. You know, somebody go out for buy the basic commodities, they go tell you say fear long go up. But monitoring aspect very key. But how the Ministry of Information, because I get a very key role, and civic education play into this, for people to understand, more especially into engage other ministries, you know, where at the end, you know, they all get used into but there are priorities when areas where government only talk about. But how that can be that kind of collaboration for people to understand, you know, what's happening to the field area.
Well, now part of it's now this in television, so that you get the Deputy Minister of Information and Civic Education with the chairperson for PRA, for make we communicate why at this point in time we forget increments by the pump price. You know, waiting be done the happen for the past 6 months. Waiting government be done the loss. Waiting for the happen. If still government be allowed for make the full price, make it can to bin. You know, that even self-hold don't say now 25 leones per litre, government still get for suffer some loss. Because government still get for get some subsidies. And in the way government not get forget, where government get for suffer from. Make people understand. But also make we get a context where they at a global level for say, auto salon no more, pump price they go. Auto salon no more, this they happen. In many other countries, I make example that there are countries that way, in fact, they don't get availability of them products there every day. So they get queues them across countries them. So, but for we, as we country, we because of government action that we don't take for the past 5 years, the kind of support we don't get to the sector in millions and millions of dollars for support the oil marketing companies them, for because they get dollars for import them products there. We don't ensure say we not get them kind of queues then they along. We get the availability of the products, and obviously the effects of the fact say the exchange rates don't they go up. The price now the world market safe we not get control over and so it go up. But again, government your role now for assure people and say we see ever this show we government don't take. We don't make sure say we look at all other options there and we take them in the best interest, and so until we go carry it the minimal suffering to people them. And I tell you like I start and tell you say if you don't do this increment the government don't announce, we don't make sure say we don't count the stakeholders them, like the transport sector. Because now area usai go to add more impact on people and more suffering. If we left that area again no more say we're not able to get an aligned fair prices the way all man go understand. Now I make them meet immediately, they don't meet this morning, they don't do a publication where all man aware. So if you be say you come off from point A to point B, you know almost like fair price where you get for pay. So keke man, Okada man, taxi man will tell you waiting for pay will go affect you disproportionately. So that's not part of government responsibility to people and say yes, indeed, these are difficult decisions. But when they work together, because government's now one unit. Ministry of Information, PRA, and agency under government, we're not one unit. At the end of the day, we just get to make sure say we get forget service delivery and for do things that really in people in interest. Now make me brother Balwa for explain why this happened. The decision the government don't take and how we will collaborate going forward. Use other ministries them, other programs then and part of the civic as well, education we want to expand them as well. For make you get more civic engagement. Because you know democracy, there's a democracy of the people, for the people and by the people. Or the people simply mean say like where President Biodo wins so it don't form government and pick people away like now we were a citizen them. Don't form this government of the people. Yeah? For the people simply means say government get for work for the people them. We mean say we get for narrow the gap through civic engagement. For get people like discussions them. So in fact recently before I can make a calculate that because at the Ministry of Trade, then call traders them. Then call the security sector, then call NACIT. We all be sit down just on the Ministry of Trade for engage about street trading. For make we understand say this is not sustainable. What are the option them? Also we get for use for make people go use as markets. What are the interim measure we get for do? Because we all accept say street trading obviously gets your own effect. The trader then say Then we get issue in terms of the Retail Trade Act, maybe they will they enforce, you know. So we don't get discussion them. Some of them also say they get market the way they where city council when are the primary responsibility for look at the market the day for make sure say they upgrade them, get toilet them, you know. So now that discussion there we get for can get for engage citizens them on the decision the way government they take for make we hear them. Because sometimes back, it's also important to say, as government they go along, we get feedback from citizens then. Like we should not at the table. Because government, they only function where people then respect government and they participate, you know. And I make we continue for make sure say we expand the civic space through the civic engagement to make sure say the issue on the road they take, people are involved. So I think now one of the things then this way I think say unique about this government that they expand the civic space for make sure say we get more people in for not only to get the ideas, but also get feedback on what in government they do. Because, you know, government is a big entity. Yeah. But every decision where government they take, they affect people. So it's important from the policy stage, we got people who sit down at the table say, okay, now this government want to do, what you want to think? We get the ideas there, for shape of policy there. Oh, come for implement back, we call them back, say, oh, we want to implement this kind of policy, what you want to think? Oh, we don't implement, forget feedback back, say, oh, we don't implement, so what they go right, what they go correct, what you need for change. So I think that this president be able to do for make sure say we say democracy for work for the people and by the people okay. Because democracy not go work just by government alone.
Okay, like I'm told the executive chairman for PRA. And so generally, and you know, I go with my friend we can always follow you and he say he can always admire you with you engagement skill with your oil marketers. You know, back then he said there are so many challenges with getting the oil markets are under control, you know, because you find out, see, everybody seems for the do what you want, but since you take over, there are a lot of stability with regards to fuel. And he also mentioned at one point during the COVID, you know, we go for, within that period, there are so many challenges, but Sierra Leone, we're able to stabilize with fuel and fuel available throughout and several occasions. Them we don't come, more people think, say, then for the get challenge, but we're able to manage all of that. Even within this period, yesterday we see queue for just about 2-3 hours, but after we see everybody move about in normal business. And even at around 11, people also be sell fuel at the fuel station as well. Yeah,
thanks so much, Remy. And what we don't do, now the reason is where people they applaud President Bio because of a intergenerational appointment the way they make young people then they look my brother get energy that 3 minutes train say 1 hour I don't still come back for country and it also they take a young feature in hand so who they put in any office how you do succeed and how you give support to the vision of the president. So the first 1 year of course with the struggle as I told you and as we move along we make sure say our policies are clear and we explain to them with policy then what to want to achieve and how they achieve those policies. All of them know say we want to bring additional players to complement them because what happen in the oil industry is highly capital intensive. If you get storage, you don't get enough money for full capacity. If somebody else they will get product nowadays they ask for LC now, but these days the cash transaction you pay for 1,000 liters. 1,000 metric ton to give 1,000 liters. So it's very expensive for you to pay on 0 day. In those days, they are paying for on 60 days LC, 90 days LC. But now with the event will happen at the globe, most of the transactions, in fact, at the high season, they say fair now. Where you transfer $1 million, they give you the equivalent. Also, you spoke about monitoring. Let me tell you the posture of government and which side would you go. In the first place, the pricing formula. We don't feel say you don't look obsolete, you don't old. Since the last time we World Bank make a 1992 or so at the go school. So now the Ministry of Finance are working assiduously for now get an independent reviewer we World Bank for give. So that will benefit all the parties we involved in that pricing formula, including consumers. They also the NRA look at the Minister of Finance in speech, it bring fair market system. Because what did happen right now? If you go Kabbalah today, fair at 25 leons. You're going to put on today, fair at 25 leons. Do you know why? Other countries, Kabbalah will say higher than 25 leons because of the distance, distribution cost, and transportation. Pujan for the say higher, both of the say higher than Lombly. So we're going to go uniform price adjustment factor. That factor there When they tell you, say, if they sell fuel now normally at the same price, at this price, if we sell back like Kabakwe at the same price, government don't do that. But what is some people they do some deal that they do, then they go load for Kisi Road. They take the product, they go load for Kono, for instance. They sell the product now for Kono. When they load them, then they get that money, they carry the product na Shell. They can sell it na Shell.
But concessions did in terms of if I want for load for Kono, their percentage will then reduce.
Yes. Because we get a factor in the formula where they can get, that means that on earned revenue that you're not supposed to get that revenue because the cost they from here to Kono that distance. Now government they bear that cost in the consumers. So now go say they go Kono, they go sell na Shell at the same price. So when you cheat. Yeah. So now NRA they bring PR, the NRA and PR they work together for the product marking. That it also avoid smuggling. So you go load for Kenima, you go load for Podloko, you go NSI, you go transgress, the regulator will know, NRA will know, who's going to, because they also affect custom issues. So that are the other factor. They will also try for, they will now bring a unified petroleum pricing fund. Now we're going to change this separately. We'll get the review at them. When you buy products, now we get a fund. If you go, if you not agree sell na Shell, you want to sell na Kailan, for instance. You buy product, you don't want to sell na Lombly, you want to sell na Makeni, for instance. And at the end of the day, want to reconcile. You will go find a distance, will they compensate you from the formula.
That's part of the progress with PRA.
Yeah, that's where we want to go. Oh, they get this fair market system and the review of World Bank for access the pricing formula.
All right. So to speak, we able to keep the fair for the next 3 months with the new price.
Now, I don't tell you what it is in fair prices globally. We don't say the...
No, sorry, not to be the question. It's about the storage facility.
Oh, the availability of
yes.
the price. Yes. What would they do? Every Monday, every Tuesday, every day up to Friday, my team, they're going to tap now. They do physical dipping. Would they dip 7 a.m.? Would they dip 5 p.m.? Because the volume, they change because of the climate, what the sun they want. So at the end of the day, would they dip back? So with the supply, would they give this information to the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Trade? As we are talking, we get product, and even for diesel, we get a plan for receive diesel this weekend back. So would they monitor it? You further say the portfolio it look lower, but they do it rapidly, and this also that it costs on the oil marketing companies, because when they import at a very low quantity, say 5,000, 6,000. You get higher replenish costs, and you know they also enjoy economies of scale. Because if you get 40,000 metric ton, the insurance is different, and the cost of freight is different. So, but if you bring that sponsor parcel and repeated 2 or 3 times per month, now it costs on you also, and even insurance. So that is why I said in my opening statement, they also need for open their mind, let them go into partnership, let them bring more players, and government also for now participate and take leadership. Because it just means this president, apostle get luck. When they go towards the election, we get marketers. They come together, they accept, say, let us freeze pump price. Now, a very lucky president we get. But it's not going to happen all the time. Yeah. So government also needs, we all product will come with. Our aim is part of stability. If government bring product, we will not be selling to them in dollars. We will be selling to NP, to Leone Oil, to Conex, to anybody in Leones. And you will be distributing and marketing in Leones. Meaning you don't have any foreign exchange risk. The foreign exchange risk now wholly and solely on the government burden. That. Meaning also, you don't get anything for the price again. Yeah. So because you get a fixed distribution cost, it is predictable. If I say to give OMC 200 liters per liter, the dealer 100 liters per liter, and transport 100 per liter, you know what you get. So you know sell abnormally. Then also, we will get a threshold. And as a regulator, I will say, well, today the pump price, the 19 euros. If you want, you go sell 15 leons. You want, you go sell 14 leons. You want, we cannot go above 19 leons. And if that happens, we rest assured that Shell will get a lower fair price, and we'll get permanent stability in the industry.
No, aside from that, I can always like for ask them, because they're very important. PRA put some law fuel stations. Then there are activities where they know what they do. We see several times where it can lead to problem, and back then, I can monitor deep them fuel station, ensure they get fuel. So how they want in this,
This is I have to tell you, it is not peculiar to Sierra Leone. The oil industry, I told you, is very complex, very ambiguous, very volatile. That is why it is a highly regulated sector in any country. As I'm talking to you, I get a team in the northwest where they monitor. I also got a team in the east where they monitor. People that still In terms of compliance rate, I have to be honest with you, we didn't have 67%. When we came in 2018, it was way below 30%. Pass at the Pastor Road, I see gas station now. I said, we don't get this gas station. I go ask the director of compliance, he said, we don't get idea. But that has improved significantly because of what my brother just say, with the sensitizer. Because our compliance activity now, the code enforcement, we see 2021, we shut down few gas stations. And we don't do some surveys around. We get 6, when a red flag, they go construct a red flag area, a bad area. Because what we don't tell you, say, no, we don't have a cinema gas station. We don't go na waterway. We don't go na below high tension cables. President Bio and this government, our aim is not only for the citizens, but you say you're the investor. We want your life. If you put out to the president, if you go get a land, you go construct under a high tension cable. I see one academy, I stop her. I don't see one above, I stop her. So that will continue for do. But I will tell you, we still get people there. You cannot eliminate that completely. Yeah. What we can do is to minimize those kind of bad dealers and bad investors and the risk also.
All right. We'll try to carry on, but let's come back to Yusuf Keketumasan. Earlier today, you have to touch a bit into the fuel issue before. One question I want to ask you quickly.
No, carry on.
No, but that will be the last question. But you have to touch on the fuel issue. It's in yes.
Yes, I think like way Baluwade explained. I keep for repeats for cities that yes, these are difficult times. They are difficult times not because of the government, but because obviously we can normally say the war in Ukraine, Russia will be the challenges we will get in terms of the exchange rate and also the prices of the petroleum product, they're already out of government control. These are in the way they affect countries them across the world. Balua, obviously, I don't know if you don't give them the table of the prices that we're getting other countries are supposed to know. And then every decision government they take. Government is fully aware. So these are decisions we get for affect people, citizens them. These are people away governments care about. These are people away president don't take oath for say. Now people away again for serve faithfully, diligently, but also more importantly for seek their welfare. And against in that context, now make any decision we take. We you look at all the other options then and take a decision we get for cause the least pain on the ordinary people there. And this issue where governments cancel, this issue where governments for don't take 6 months ago. And if governments say we for actually look at all the taxes, both indirect and direct taxes, so this is the all way they in this arrangement. Now in government, the one try for put on the fuel price, or for don't they way beyond the 25 millions per liter. But government say yes, indeed, even though government not suffer beaucoup loss system. But government got to continue for suffer back more loss system because one for ensure say the price for the full pass through not go all it not go for the people them. Now I make Udom say for now low make 25 millions per liter.
Okay.
Even this one who don't do so, countries them like in Guinea, in the Gambia, many countries them we price per the fuel still low. And because of that, governments they ensure say will continue for seek the people and welfare. And therefore, my own message will come for support me border from the PRA, now for talk to the people now the transport sector.
Yeah, because that's very important. I also
the transport sector.
For example, even though the prices them already don't readjust, but they will still take people from Bombay, then Califina, Jue, for also pay the same price we government puts, and then you take other passenger from Jue and go level in Waterloo with the same price.
Exactly. So now part of my own message, when I say this civic education and engagement, it means say we say for citizens, we for take responsibility and we for care and support one another. Because not just governments no more. So if you be say you na poda driver, taxi driver, keke rider, okada rider, you self get responsibility for make sure say today the stakeholders them, the motor drivers union and they don't meet with government, Ministry of Transport and Aviation. We all agree by the transport fare from one point to another point. We talk to them as we own citizens them, we own company them. Say, waiting owner and government don't agree. Let us make sure say we comply with that one day. Because at the end of the day, if you not comply with that one day, you go to suffer, you come pay Salomon. Where waiting government don't say, oh, I don't agree, they not go by that one day. So therefore, we dey encourage them, we dey urge them for make sure say, make we comply with them fears they are on set. Because at the end of the day, now one salon we get. Government only day for make us say we care about people and needs. But in terms of implementing, yes, Ministry of Transport go make sure say we enforce them in there. But then say if we get at the bottom end for implement them for make sure say do ya make we see say we not add people and suffering them because of which not happen. So we beg, we encourage them for make we go strictly by waiting we don't agree this morning say that the transport fares then wait for the across board.
And finally, you know, earlier the president, you know, when the president talk, we all know it's a policy and it works. And because the philosophy of most people say it's a talk and do president, and the president earlier say when he address the other ministers and deputy ministers, we also take oath and say, I think it points out directly to you know, Dr. Kano Yunkela that in vision now for Sierra Leone able for produce rest for ourselves by 2028. It's that one of him big legacy we want for left now. So we're not for the import rest again. That's a very strong statement from the president.
You know, believe you me, we can always make this scenario between we and Vietnam. We get similar background, similar story, but then at some point in their history, then determine say them for stop for importing the way they eat. And now Vietnam, they export to the world. It is possible, it is doable because God don't bless we. The amount of rainfall we'll get, the land that we'll get, you know, arable land that we'll get, for able to make sure say we for able for eat what we they grow or grow what we they eat. And I make presidents very clear pan the big 5 game changer that we do. The first point about fit Sierra Fit Sierra Leone is very important because at the end of the day now people they talk about a few weeks ago we get challenges in terms of onions, yabas. We get the land for make sure say we able to grow yabas, for we get yabas. And government we don't put it as part of priorities. And in fact, for even address the one day, government not just to do so and look at the challenges and no. In fact, this weekend, the Minister of Trade don't even tell me say we forget importation of yabas for onions from Meden Camp. Yeah. In the next couple of weeks, we'll get more importation for yabas than Meden Camp. So when they tell you say yes, government will do everything we can for address the challenges the way they come. But like with every other thing, President Bio believes say, because we get naturally, we get the land, we get the rainfall, we get everything where it takes, we for stop for importing the way we eat. So therefore, fit silent agriculture. Now we also happy they don't carry it a young minister and the Musa Paka, who are the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, for making able to ensure say a show leadership. And Dr. Kano Yunkela, somebody said we get vast experience. You get the international network, get the clouds, get the background, get the knowledge and experience for support presidents for this vision. And I make we say this now an inclusive government president don't make. So now a government of the young and government of the experience. Because we not say yes, young people like we get the energy. Yeah. Some of we get small experience. But also we get people like Dr. Kano Yunkela that we get Boku experience there. For make sure say we get partnership, we get the inclusiveness, for make sure we deliver on president in vision and agenda. My own job now for the explaining thing there. And if we encourage people and say, citizens themselves get a role for play in terms of engagement, ideas, then feedback, for make sure say this government, now government where they put people in at the center for deliver on president's agenda. All right.
Thank you very much, Chief Keketuma Sandy and Executive Chairman. Waiting with a message to Sierra Leoneans.
I want to tell the entire consumers, the citizens, they say, this president will get, and this government of President Julius Maada, they put the people there at the epicenter of every decision making. No government, no president, no we will for succeed, we will encourage hardship on people there. Government tries best as possible for letting remove the burden on the consumers by not passing the full pass through to the consumer in this price change. Then to the dealers also, let them know say this is a regulated sector. Part of their license requirement now for them to meet the conditions of our license. And for let them sell the product to people there, may not commingle product and they get the same product they get from the terminal, and may not be getting sold to them, but they hold them back, then jelly can there. That is against our laws of Sierra Leone. Let them serve the people there. To the oil market companies, particularly express my gratitude to the support where they give, where we all can agree say, let us freeze the pump price for this length of time, where they all incur those financial losses, appreciate them. So, but let's also think about partnership, grow our businesses, let them look for more players through acquisition. Two, three companies might come together in acquisition for, let them grow. I think say, throughout Africa, the petroleum sector is underfunded. People are scaring away from investment. I don't know what it is. So we need to come together as a team. We need to move from oil importer to a refiner. You need to move from a dealer to an oil importer. Then I can level do one for B with the support of government, because government get the policy in place.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Grandma Balua Kuma, the executive chairman for the Petroleum Regulatory Agency, and Yusuf Keketuma Sandi, the Deputy Minister of Information and Civic Education. That's why we're in this conversation today, and hopefully tomorrow we will bring live broadcast from the State Opening of Parliament. Also, we'll see the President, go for official opening the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. And, with all the issues away, and probably after we'll get Tomorrow for talk on that, with the composition of Parliament.
But, before you just go, then they also tell you, say, we're not proactive government.
Yeah.
Presidents be very serious for governing this country. And therefore, like you say, tomorrow we get the 6th parliamentary president officially open for make them start. And therefore, we will continue for the encourage you both of them and sister again at the APC for tell and say now one country we get. And this government, the government, we're inclusive, we're ready for work with everybody. So therefore, people let be done votes for them, for make them go parliament, make them go take their seats and make them join hand for push this country go before.
Thank you very much. Well, till then, do have a lovely day and bye.